Surprise.
Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Monday Night Smoke. Here right now, KG's looking a little different today.
A lot slimmer, a lot prettier. That's
There
all
we
we're saying.
Hey, listen, there's things you can say about yourself that I'm not about to co-sign, fam.
That's cool. I'm a co-sign it all myself on that one.
Respect it, fam. Hey, yeah, man, KG's over. He's over that part of the world right now with the awful Wi-Fi, fam. We tried to do a test. It was not making sense, fam. Hold on a second. I'm just seeing these comments now. Man are saying Caribbean KG. I'm respecting
I'll take it.
There we go.
Take it.
There we go. KG with a bit of seasoning, fam. All right, let me do the comments and be respectful. Let's see if Raj is Raj, you're back on top, bro. Here at 7:30, he's not playing games. He's not messing around with his lineal comment title, fam. Shout out man like Raj, man like Ahija Selassie, Jermaine Williams, October Red, man like Dow. Bro, you lot were chatting heavy, boy. Alex Ferguson, Muller, Aaron Ozzy B, Skyliner, the editor, Snarfox for WR45, man like Raj again, SB, Baracus, Black Super, Sidebar, Untraceable Don, Declan, Jamdown 187, McGowan CFC, man like Diggers. I ain't seen that name before here, bro. Welcome.
Okay.
Man like JD05, Daniel Boateng, Ashley Williams, William Blackwood, I'm seeing. Life of Deji, and there's a few more, but yeah, man, let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't have the sound effects machine, people. So say you're gonna have to have your imaginary claps and your booms and everything. Like, we'll make it work.
It's fine, fam. It's fine. But listen, we gotta talk, bro. Because right now,
yes,
if we're gonna throw forward just at the top, because it's Terence Crawford and Errol Spence fight week, bro.
Can't wait.
Like, I need to see where we are in the chat in terms of who you think is going to win. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. Because for me, since the beginning of talking about this, it's been sorry, bloody hell. Terence Crawford. Almost made a mistake there. Terence Crawford, I can't see it going any other way. No matter how much footage I watch. Like this week, yeah, I went back and I watched Errol Spence fights and I thought to myself, am I really sleeping on my man? Because I've not entertained that idea that he could win. And I've watched enough to know I still feel the way I feel.
I don't blame you. I'm on the same position as you are with regards to that. I mean, look, I've said it. You're gonna see it. Our basis picks is dropping early. It's actually dropping tomorrow. You guys will get a special preview of that. I also did a show with Danny Glover for the Neutral Corner. It was a Spence versus Crawford special. My decision has not wavered. It is Terence Crawford inside 9 rounds.
Inside 9 rounds.
Inside 9 rounds has not changed.
So you're saying what? He's what?
He's KOing him clean. Inside 9 rounds.
You see, this is the part. This is where I'm like, okay, points might be a late stoppage, or it might just be one of those fights where it's like, you know, when the fight doesn't get going, it just stays nip and tuck the whole way through. But I can't, like, I don't know. The knockout is where I feel like, okay, maybe I'm going too far.
No, I'm not. Look, at the end of the day, right, you guys got to look at history. Let's look at their two trajectories over, say, like the last 10 fights. Okay, since Crawford's been at welterweight, pretty much, right? 100% KO ratio. Prior to that, him and Errol Spence have like a 1% difference KO ratio in their 11 fight difference. So you got Crawford's 39-0, you got Spence 28-0. They have 1% difference. You've allowed Terence Crawford to grow into this weight class. Yes, Errol is the naturally bigger guy, very big. But when you look at Crawford, I still actually believe that Crawford is naturally stronger than Spence. The wrestling background, I've seen him deadlift 200 kg before at 155 pounds. He is an unnaturally strong brother. So you're not going to be trying to bully him around in the pocket. And those shots are going to come from angles that Errol's not used to seeing because he's very up and down and he's very sort of linear in his movement, and he's heavy footed. So when the pivots come around and those shots start hitting him from angles he can't see, plus his reaction time ain't the same as it used to be since the car crash. It's dipped, and people are acting like it hasn't. It has. He just hasn't fought anyone that's really trying to exploit that.
All right, fine. We'll catch up with the callers on that one in a second.
Sweet.
Where when it's ain't even fight week for Fulton and Newey. This is like the day before.
Yeah, this is
So
way in there.
yeah, this is one that's like I'm struggling to pick because I don't see it as a foregone conclusion necessarily for Inui. A lot of people are saying Inui KO and they're just content with that. But I'm very much like Fulton is a smart defensive fighter, and these are the type of fighters that can get those big punches unstuck. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think?
I've got a new A on points. Yeah, I don't think he's stopping Fulton. I think Fulton is he's too defensively responsible to get hit with any of the really clean shots. I don't think he's gonna let his hands go enough that you can really like catch him in between something and you know that time in him, that sharpshooting. What I do think is gonna happen is the first sort of 5 rounds is gonna be very competitive, nip and tuck. But I think Fulton's gonna get the better of that just because I feel like he's gonna be the bit more nimble, bit slicker, be able to sort of pickpocket and sort of get Inoue out of pocket. But the difference with Inoue is he doesn't just throw shots for the sake of it. He's very calculated. And at some point in those 5 rounds, I can see Fulton having to take a moment to have to take some rest, take a breather. And at that point is when he's either going to open up or he's going to try sit back towards the ropes, get caught with something he doesn't like, and realize, okay, I can't afford to really have that in the locker, so I'm gonna have to just move and be a bit more defensive on the back foot. And at that point, I feel like he's gonna bring a bit more of the aggression. It's not gonna be like a big like pressure fight, but he's gonna be on the front foot, and you know they're gonna look for that front foot aggression and maybe the clean strikes from there. So I can just see him basically getting to the end of the fight, being nip and tuck, possibly like even a split decision, maybe if one of the judges is like very sort of favorable towards Fulton slick boxing on the outside. But I could just see a new way on points on that one.
Are we giving any type of room or any leeway for this conversation about the gloves? Like, there's been a bit of Glovegate talk. Like, they're saying that the hand wraps are saying that, right, you men are stacking the thing. I don't like how that looks. Inui's like, bro, we're in Japan. In Japan, we can do this thing, so don't get upset. Just suck it up and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, Stephen Fulton can do the exact same thing. And shout out to Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. He went and read the rules, right? So the rules state that you're allowed to use, I think it's 20 yards of gauze and 20 yards of tape or whatever it is. There is no rule to say that you can't put the tape on the skin first and then put the gauze in anywhere. So it's not even like, oh, it's illegal in one place. No, there's no rule that says you can't do it. It's just some commissions don't allow you to do it because they claim of the cast thing, right? But that doesn't make sense if the tape doesn't go over your knuckles. As long as the tape doesn't go over here, it doesn't matter because you don't punch with this part of your hand. You punch with the knuckles. So as long as the knuckles don't have the tape over it, there's absolutely nothing there. The only thing that tape does on the skin, it just tightens up the wrist so that wrist doesn't flex as much and you'd have less risk of like damaging your wrist. So it's more to protect your hand as opposed to do damage to the to the opponent. This isn't hands of stone and the wraps like Margarito and it's not that.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you. I don't know, man. I think whenever the Glovegate thing starts to come up, it's either one or two things. It's either one or two things where someone's been doing something dodgy for a while, they've been getting away with it, and it's now getting exposed. Or it's just purposely trying to get into your head just to piss you off and make some noise. Because now
I think it's got to be that.
That's it. Inui's having to come out and explain himself. Whereas he's never had to do that before. Now Fulton's just like got him looking dodgy in the light for no reason.
Yeah, so and obviously, if you look at it, there's been pure man. Remember, every single man who's fought him over in Japan or wherever, they've got their own people, like literally there, checking the wraps. If they weren't happy with it, they're telling, no, take that off. Let's do it again. They're not doing that. So if they're not doing that, clearly they're either comfortable with it or they're like, well, boy, they can do it, we can do it, fine.
I hear that. Just before we open the lines, I just want to get a few takes on a couple of things, man. Combose's Maxi Hughes was this weekend. Oof. And it was just the maddest robbery. Like, it's one of the ones now where I'm so used to robberies, yeah. Like, it's a part of the culture now. Like, I didn't even leave that fight feeling like how I did after the Catterall fight. After Catterall, Josh Taylor, I was like, nah, this is mad. I felt bad for Jack. I've been rooting for Jack a bit harder in his fight since then. Now I'm just like, oh, this is the game.
I mean, look, it's definitely not the absolute worst one I've seen, but it's in the top tier. Like, it's if there was a list of like the top 10, it's definitely in that top 10 because I can't make a case for Cambosis getting more than 5 if you're being absolutely generous on every single
Thank you.
close round. And me, I had one round that I scored even, which was a round that a lot of people said that he won. I had it 116, 113 to Maxi Hughes. So
Yeah. Same. Like for me, I looked at that fight and I thought to myself, yeah, this is. I don't even know what the premise is of this, unless they've got something else already sealed. I've seen Kambosos talking about Lomachenko, and I'm like, yeah, that's a fight that I could see being made. But yeah, I don't
but
know.
now
It's
the
just
Shakur Stevenson fight is next. Basically, the whole point was for him to have this fight and then fight Shakur Stevenson, and then Shakur Stevenson fight Lomachenko after that. That was supposed to be the trajectory. So
yeah.
he's got his fight now. He's on the winning streak again, back in the winners bracket. Going to face Stevens. Obviously, you saw them have their little back and forth afterwards and whatnot, and that's basically setting that up for later on in the year. And then it's supposed to be Stevenson and Lomachenko next year. So
Mate,
that's
just
why sometimes when you got to rob someone for the greater good, that's what they talk about.
100% fam. Yeah, I mean, just before we open the lines, Matty Harris, bro. Matty Harris managed to lose in a very, these early career losses, yeah, they got hurt so bad. This ain't even like fighting for the British level, like British title and losing there. It's like, bro, you lost against. I remember the weigh-in picture. The weigh-in picture, he's looking clean over a man's head, like, come on, bro, like this is nuts. To go and lose.
The one thing I will say about Dovashenko though, he's a lot better than his record does suggest, and he's that guy that obviously he's the man that everyone basically the whole thing is, can I stop him? Because no one ever is able to stop him, and obviously he tucks up nice. If you remember though, when he fought Moses Atuma in that fight on the Joe Joyce undercard, he basically done the same thing to Moses Atuma. He made Moses basically like blow his gasket, like blow the tank up, and then from then. But whereas rather than Moses carried on trying to throw heavy shots, he just decided to start boxing, moving, and try to conserve some energy because he started feeling the rounds himself. He's done the exact same thing to Matty Harris. The only difference is Matty just didn't conserve or didn't condition himself well enough. He went for the gusto too quickly in the first half of the fight and just couldn't sustain it and was just out on his feet from the third. But I think he's the only person thus far to actually drop Dobashenko. So we got that part at least.
Mate, I just felt I saw a lot of people debating whether or not it was a good stoppage, and I just feel like that's just ill-advised. Like that stoppage, I'm happy with that stoppage. Like I know it's obviously sad for him to, have that outcome, but he was done. He was done.
Yeah.
All that was left to take unnecessary punishment.
Yeah, another 3 minutes of beating when you can't even really get your hands up properly. Yes, he was lucid, he was moving about, but it's like his hands, it was way heavy. So I just don't. He couldn't even have been up trying to block Slipper. He was gonna just take shots for the sake of taking shots. It wasn't worth it.
No, 100%, man.
But you know what? The fact it is, just as I say, the fact it was so early in the career, even though it feels bad. There's a long way you can come back and rebuild from it. Because when they say, when you go for the titles, all of a sudden you're in that limelight. So when you lose, then it's a bit different. But now there's still not that many people watching him. It wasn't on the Channel 5 part of the card for us. His own people saw it, but that's elsewhere. He can kind of go and rebuild in private and come back stronger than ever. So it's not like a Daniel Dubois situation.
And I think it's nice when you've taken that early career loss, right? So you understand what this game is. There's nothing to be taken for granted. You kind of just, you're battle tested. You kind of have to come back now and be like, okay, cool. I know what can happen if I don't take this thing serious. That's a better lesson to learn at this stage of his career, rather than, as you're saying, when you're under the bigger lights. And now people are saying he should finish, he should retire. He's not built for this thing. Yep. So I kind of prefer that story arc versus the perfect record. Got a super chat here from ERF Boxing. Thank you, bro. Crawford stopped Spence. Spence is about to pay for how PBC has treated him for years. Porter quit before he could put his foot on his neck. Spence is about to feel the wrath of Omaha. Okay, I respect that way. Shouts out to Boxing Beats and Rhymes. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you being here, Beats. Fam. Yeah, man. I see the super chat. Hey, hit the link and jump on if you can, man. All right, let's get Danny in right now. Danny, what's going on, bro?
It's all good, man. It's fight week, man. It's fight week.
Mr. Glover, what's going on?
Give us the takes, bro. How do you see it playing? Spence Crawford first.
Yeah, I see. I see Errol Spence beating him. I actually see Errol Spence breaking him down, getting inside and stopping him. Because what it is, if you study their styles, all Errol has to do is make sure in the first part is that he doesn't lean over his front foot too much. Because with Crawford, people say, "Oh yeah, he's so skilled and he's so this and that." Yes, he's got moves, but when the actual technical boxer, Spence is actually the better technical boxer because Crawford's punches, he likes to catch you with looping shots, and it's always on the counter. Is when he does the most damage. Is when he catches you on the counter, i.e., the body shot on Ndongo. He caught Porter on the counter. He caught Kell Brook with a counter arching jab. So it's always on the counter. When he actually tries to initiate an attack, he isn't quite as good, and it's all looping shots. He doesn't actually. If you're talking about who has the better jab, Errol Spence has the better jab. Who has the better straight left hand? Errol Spence has the better straight left hand. If you're talking about actual technique, then Errol Spence has the actual better technique. Crawford has more flashier moves and is able to do switch hitting, which is, a very advantageous thing to be able to do. But if you're talking about actual skill set, actual technique, Errol Spence is the better technical boxer.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're drilling down to technique. I notice you're really emphasizing that. But let's talk about effectiveness. Because Terence is as effective as Errol Spence in every category. So we're talking about the technique of how he throws the shot. Okay, cool. His one might be slightly more correct. But the effectiveness, you're not telling me that Spence is going to be more effective than Crawford over the 12 round. No way.
I feel so. In the first half, I believe that the first 2 rounds, Errol Spence is going to take them because Crawford's a slow starter. Then Crawford will probably win the next 3 rounds, so he'll be up 3-2. From then, that's when Errol Spence gets inside and starts breaking him down. Because when Errol Spence starts getting to work and actually throwing them combinations, I just think Terence he's going to break down and he's going to get stopped.
So the thing is, like, do you not feel like your perception of Errol Spence is slightly outdated? Only reason why I say that is he looks visibly different since the car accident. He hasn't come back to previous to the car accident, that form that he was on then. He hasn't gone back to that.
Oh, yes, he has. If you look at how he dealt with Lamont Peterson and then look how he dealt with Yordenis Ugas, look how he smashed him up at Yordenis Ugas up. He was throwing combinations, getting inside, working head and body.
Lamont Peterson was on his last legs, man. You can't use that as a decent comparison.
I said, but then look what he did to Yordenis Ugas in his last fight.
All right, if we look at his opponents, right, is the closest opponent to Terence Crawford is probably Kell Brook, right? He can do a little bit of switch it in. He's got that nice jab. He's got the good footwork. Let's not forget that fight. Throughout the majority of that fight, especially those earlier rounds, Kell Brook was jabbing over the top of Spence's jab throughout almost the whole half of that, the first half of that fight. He was outlanding him. He was getting to the shots quicker. Yes, Spence was able to get down on and basically up the tempo on him later on in the rounds. But you're forgetting he's dealing with a man now that punches harder than anyone he's been in the ring with. Do you really think he's going to get the moment to go up and down, increase the tempo, head body when he's getting punched from all different angles, equilibrium shots, uppercuts, like left hook, right hooks, looping shots when Errol's just literally there on the line, not moving his head, just center line, up, down, up, down. He's there to get hit. Okay. And he's going to get hit. He's going to get hit clean multiple times. He's going to get pivoted. He's going to get spun around when he digs his toes into the ground trying to throw that sweeping left hook to the body, and he's going to get caught. As much as he's going to try and keep his hand up, Crawford's going to find a way to get around that target, whether it's in front or behind the hand. Errol's going to feel those shots different to any shot he's ever felt before, and that's Crawford, what I don't think he's going to be able to take. His reaction time isn't as fast as it used to be.
And Crawford's going to feel the power, the most power he's ever felt before also. And remember, Crawford is what Errol Spence does. He has this thing where he puts his hand where he guides it behind your back and then smashing it. And that's Crawford was getting caught with that same shot before by opponents. So there's certain techniques that have been applied on both guys that are susceptible that these guys use on each other. So we will see.
It's the same Spence that ain't been in the ring for almost 2 years now. Like, I mean, it's like a year and a half. It was 2021.
22 actually.
Was it 22?
Yes, it was. It was last year.
Oh, yeah, it was 2 years before that. Yeah, with the retina after the Danny Garcia fight 2020. Yeah, you're right. But okay, so big off year outside the ring, tight at the weight, been tight at the weight for God knows how long. I mean, his body. You saw the way he took those body shots from Ugas, who don't hit nowhere near as hard as Crawford, and you think he's going to stand up to that to be able to then up the tempo and go up a high low, all that. No, he's getting taken out. Then just accept it now. It's fine.
Crawford doesn't throw straight crosses to the body though.
He doesn't have to throw a straight cross to the body. He could spin around the target and loop that in.
It ain't gonna. It's a different shot. It ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work. That's the argument. All right, Danny. Cool. Danny, Fulton Inui. What's your predictions?
I've got Inui on points. Yesterday, I was surprised how big Fulton was compared to Inui, actually. So any chance of, well, I wouldn't say any chance of a stoppage, but that would, anyone who did think that Inui was just going to walk through him like, cream custard, the size is going to, so Inui's going to have to use his feet in and out and use more boxing technique, more like his brother, use a bit more of the boxing technique and in and out and rack up the points on accumulation. I don't think the going for the stoppage with someone, remember Fulton, yeah, he's big, but he's very nimble and agile as well. So even catching him is going to be difficult. So it's best to just go for points. I think that's going to be Inui's tactic, really. I've got him on point.
Shouts out to Fulton's ponytail thing that he's got going on, boy. That reminds me of like year 3, like primary school vibes, boy. That look nuts.
That's coming to America like settings.
No, but his one is real juices and berries because his one is real long.
All I know, but here's the problem. No, but here's the problem. If he starts taking any clean shots and that ponytail starts whipping, it's gonna look even worse in the light. He needs to tie it up. He needs to tie that thing up still.
I saw someone call it a rat's tail on Twitter today. I said, you know what? I can't even defend my man. Still, it's looking nuts.
But that's the name of it. Back in the day when you had the high top with the rat tail at the back, like Lennox Lewis had, that's what it was called, a rat tail. But if you cut that one off, that's going to be more than $8 than that barbershop charge in Queens.
That's it. Mad. Some Kambosos and Maxi Hughes, the match that took place this weekend.
Oh no, that was a bump still. Obviously, it's not robbery of the century, but it was a bump still. Kambosos was getting hurt to the body. He was getting uppercutted left, right, and center. Yeah, he was just getting beaten up. I don't want to do too much because it's got to do the breakdown tomorrow with base. But yeah,
say no more, fam. Say no more. I'll let you man cook. All right, brother. Appreciate you calling in, man.
What's up?
Yo, Danny, we're looking forward to fry fish this weekend.
Oh yeah, and make sure you have my money. No Travis J escrows, by the way. Yeah.
Hey, what do you mean Travis J escrow? The money's in there. Get your accountant to talk. Listen, KG's messing around with his. Listen, that's not my problem, man.
And guys, look out for the great debate with me and Base the Kid. That will be coming out tomorrow morning. The Neutral Corner podcast, where me and Base the Kid debate on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford on why each person will win. So yeah, love everyone, man. Bless.
No worries.
All right, bro. Peace. Take it easy, man. Let's get boxing beats. Hey, what's going on, bro?
Yo, what's good? What's good, people? It's good,
hey, welcome to the show, man. Good to have you here, man.
Yeah, man. So, Matty Harris.
Oh yeah, start there.
You know what it is? He just, the kid ain't used to someone firing back after he's hit someone with some heavy shots. Mm-hmm. And when he saw this stumpy guy just coming back after him, weren't gonna just go down and take a count. He everything that he practiced, he just forgot. It just went out the window. Panic. Yeah. I don't think he was tired.
You don't think he was tired?
No, I think he mentally lost it. I think he had a mental breakdown.
Mental fatigue, yeah.
Yeah. I think he mentally broke down in there. I think he mentally broke down.
I felt like he was spent at that point, man.
Yeah, well, if the mind, tells you you're tired, then you get tired. Because it seemed all of a sudden, after he scored that knockdown, his shape looked okay, and then all of a sudden, like, what's going on?
I know what you mean.
What's going on? You have to remember, this is a young guy running, training. What you just get tired like that?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I
Maybe
guess,
he wasn't training properly. You don't know, because if you listen to if you listen to his podcast with October Red, there was some things he said in there which made me feel like he just expects it to kind of almost come easy at this point. So
Yeah.
maybe he wasn't doing the work properly in the lead up to this one, and then it was all about, oh, I'm gonna be the guy to stop him. And as soon as that didn't happen, shit, I'm not in the right condition. I'm not where I needed to be. So
Can I add this? Yeah.
go on.
You see them young kids like heavyweights who can bang really hard. They're banging out people in a round. You can't let him bang someone out in a round and then let him fight 2 months after. You need to get him in there quickly because he's not getting the rounds.
Yeah.
He's not getting the rounds, right? If you're knocking someone out in a round, you need to get back in there quick. You need to develop that muscle memory. And when you're
like
young,
what Mike Tyson was doing back in the day.
Right.
there you go. There you go. You know what I mean? And when Holyfield jumped up to heavyweights, he had loads of fights too. He had a lot of fights. You know? And yeah, it's a shame, really. The way back's going to be hard. I'm going to say that for now. It's going to be very difficult. I'm not saying he can't come back, but it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard.
Why do you think it's going to be very hard? Because I think it's not an opponent that he'll necessarily struggle to win against.
Well, they're talking about putting him straight back in. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Because I've noticed, like, see Joe Joyce and Matty, it was a fluke. It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
You got beaten over several rounds. It wasn't like you took one punch and got knocked out, right? It wasn't a fluke. Look, maybe he could he could put it right. He could, but I wouldn't put him straight. I'd let him get some more rounds, get active, and then fight the guy. You need to get, like, the gym can only get you so fit. You need to get them ring rounds in. He needs them ring rounds. He needs them. You know, like on Channel 5, they said, because he's got, was it 4 stoppages?
Yeah.
5 wins. They said the 4 stoppages were cumulatively about 4 minutes of boxing.
Yo,
It's just crazy.
that's insane still. So hold on a second. You bring up an interesting point, yeah, with Joe Joyce. Now, Joe Joyce is slightly different because age-wise, he doesn't really have time to be going around the houses and, you know, trying to come back around to see Zhang again, because that probably isn't going to happen. Do you give him any chance in the rematch?
If he can get past, see, the thing is, they're saying he's going to make these changes. He's going to be technically, but I see it like this, right? Zhang is the better counterpuncher. He's better poised. He has better timing. The trajectory of his shots are better and everything. I think Joyce has to walk through the fire, and that's what they're really relying on is Zhang to blow out, and this time Joyce not to take so much shots from that left hand backhand. They're probably going to move to the left a little more, as Frampton said, and hopefully they can get him down the stretch. But that's very risky. That's very risky.
I think he could get knocked out because he doesn't know how to deal with that southpaw at all, and I don't think one camp is going to do it.
I agree.
Yeah. And the fact he's actually started to take those shots now and realizes, whoa, I'm not as invincible as I thought, that could mentally capitulate him if he gets hit with similar stuff in the second one, no matter how much extra weight he's put on or something. So yeah, there's a very big possibility.
Why are they going to bulk him up? What? See, they're trying to tell him.
To be fair, though, on the bulking up thing, he dropped weight for this fight, and that was the eyebrow raiser, because it was like, why have you come in so small? When he fought Joseph Parker, he came in at, like, was it 270 or something like that?
But the fight before that, he was back around. It was almost at the same weight he came in at the Zhang fight. So he kind of fluctuates between like 18 and a half, like 256 to 270. So maybe 260, 262 would have been like a better weight to, you know. But the weight was you're supposed to take the weight off to stop the getting caught by those fast shots. I don't think he realized how fast Zhang's punches actually were, though, because he just couldn't get out of the way of them. So putting the weight back on might be able to hold the bang a little better, but you're not going to avoid it because there's more of you to have to move.
He came in at 18 stone. That's not light. That's a big heavyweight.
Well, I mean, for him,
it's still big. It's still big.
Yeah.
It's still that's a big man. Like, I don't think the bulking up is gonna, but we'll see. We'll see. You know.
So, what's your thoughts on Terence Crawford, Errol Spence?
it's a fight I think Spence should have took before the Lambo flip and stuff like that. He does have a chance. I think Danny was saying, the technical stuff. Like what Spence is quite good at blocking jabs. He's quite good at blocking jabs, and he's quite good at stopping you setting up. It's a tough fight, but I've got Crawford. Just too dynamic, just too much punch angles, just too much. It's not because I think Spencer's a really good fighter, but he's up against an exceptional talent.
There we go. Are you as passionate about it, like, as the outcome is based with the KO inside 9 rounds? I think they said.
Yep.
Well, listen, what Crawford does KOs, bro. Crawford does knockouts. Crawford ain't looking to outpoint you. He wants a knockout.
They better not tell Crawford that he's down on the scorecard.
Fulton Inui, that's tomorrow. Where are you going with this one, bro?
I don't like Fulton's lack of power, even though he's the bigger man. I think when you get to this elite, they're both elite level, and when it gets to elite, like, the determining factors are very, it's minute, and his lack of power. I think he could do some good things with Inui, but if he can't take it to the next level and make Inui really respect his power, I'm not sure, because I see Inui walk through a broken eye socket and still win.
Yeah,
against Nonito Donaire, that left hook from hell. Like, if he took that, he could take anything that Fulton can dish out. That's for sure.
That's real talk.
Because people are saying that Donaire is small, but Donaire probably hit harder than Stefan.
100% he does.
Yeah.
Got to get your opinion on this one, actually, because this is like rematch season at the moment. With Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith, I've seen they've released some more footage just to get the thing going again since it's been announced. Eubank Jr. at the presser, just to remind everybody his quotes, and he's just like, "Listen, you didn't stop me. The referee stopped me." Like, is Eubank Jr.'s level of delusion beneficial in any way going into a rematch like this?
Well, if he's going straight back in, he needs to be a bit deluded. I don't see him. I can see him like outboxing Beefy again, but I see him like maybe getting caught again. Maybe not getting stopped, but I see, like, I think Beefy would have had more success down the stretch anyway.
Yeah,
even if he didn't knock Eubank out, and I think Chris has gone between styles too much with Roy, and I don't know. I don't like the fight for him, really. I don't like the fight.
I think Eubank Jr. is getting KO'd, man, and it's going to be sad to see. I don't like the whole. I feel bad for the whole Eubank family right now. With obviously we're seeing Senior in the media, he's not looking as fantastic as we like to see him, and then for Junior to be in a situation where they're clear, the bridge between father and son has been broken. He's doing his own thing as going into this camp. I don't like the setup with Roy as it is, and I think it's going to end in KO. It's going to be quite a sad night in my estimations.
He's got to keep the fight ring center, yeah. Keep it in the ring center, and just keep that. He's got, like, people said, stop throwing a jab. I heard Nee Salen said, just stop throwing a jab. You're gonna be crazy. Stop throwing a jab.
Yeah, I mean, don't stop throwing a jab. Just be yourself as well. Just add to your game as opposed to switching it and trying to imitate Roy. Like, I don't like the poor Roy Jones tribute act performances that he's given us. It's quite sad to see, because it's like, bro, you actually can be quite dangerous when you let your hands go. But hey, we're just seeing this timid version of Eubank Jr. throw a jab every once in a while and try and be elusive. Nah, this ain't it. That's not the Warriors code, fam.
Yeah. I think, like, as you know what it is, his dad alluded to it. They're trying to turn my son into a bling boy, and Chris Jr. has been very, very extravagant. Probably, he's spoiled. Like, I think a lot of the fighters these days are spoiled. They're living in excess too much. Like Hagler, he had a lot of money. He didn't spend it.
Thing is, whilst I hear that, Eubank Senior was a bling boy as well. Eubank Senior drove a truck, bro. Like, he drove a whole lorry. Like, I understand that he's disappointed in his son, but it's a situation right now where it's like he's literally a copy of his dad.
But let's not forget though, when Senior did it, he had already accomplished everything. He didn't do that at the start or
Okay.
when he was still on the way up.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he had
right.
actually accomplished the stuff.
I'll let you get that.
Yeah, because he came over from the 2 fights in Atlantic City, and he was promoted by Keith Miles. He didn't have no money. They said that Miles done a press conference to try and get him a signature with either Frank or Hearn or one of the big boys. And they were saying, like, Eubank, he was talking with an American accent. He just come from America, and like he was saying some weird shit, right? And he didn't have no money. He had to fight. He had to work really hard before he was accepted. Like, they hated him. They literally hated him in this country. Before they accepted the monocle and all that stuff in the truck, he had to flipping work hard. He had to knock out Ben. He had to knock out Watson. He had to,
I hear it.
run through a lot of stuff. You know?
I hear it. Bro, thank you for calling in,
Hey,
man.
listen, no problem, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Always
Take care.
supporting.
Appreciate it,
That's
man.
up, Beats, man.
October
bro.
Red, big up. Peace.
Speak to you later. Man,
Alright,
that Beats. Big up,
Let's get
Beats.
Jack in. Jack, what's going on, bro?
You right, guys? Nice to see you.
Yeah, bro. Likewise,
What's
man.
happening,
How are you?
Jack?
I'm good. Nice to see new KG's back in the studio.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, we had to get it right. Take it back to basics. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. 100%. Upgraded.
There we go. I would drop a bomb, but the freaking KG's got
He took it with him wherever he went.
that. What's on your mind, bro?
I was watching the re-watching the Errol Spence Crawford All Access.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I said a few weeks ago that I think it's 50-50 fight, and I'm still more so in that mindset. I'm leaning towards Spence, no real reason. Just I think that's just where like the coin flips for me. But
Fair.
I was just watching it, and do you know people say like, "Oh, Errol Spence is a big welterweight"? I was always, "Oh yeah, he's a big, like he's tall, he's quite lanky." He's a big welterweight. Like he's like broad across his chest. He's got big legs. Like I didn't realize how big he actually was. Like I think the weight cut's probably going to get to him a little bit now. Like he should have moved up like 3-4 years ago at this stage. Let's be honest. Like after the car crash, he should have moved up for me. Like,
and if you remember, he started his career at 154. He sucked the weight off to get himself down to 147. So
yeah, like, and look at some of the obviously the live workout, and obviously like, his face looked a bit drawn in. Obviously, he's got a nutritionist now, but like it's still not healthy to make that weight at what early 30s, where like you're naturally growing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like, he's easily going to walk into the ring fighting like what 165 maybe. Like
But
that's
I feel
a big.
I feel like both of them have mentioned that they're both going to go up to 154 after the fight.
yeah, but I think Crawford's going up because that's where the next challenge is, because he wants more belts.
Okay.
Whereas he's comfortable at 147. That he's growing nicely into that weight. Like Spence has to go up. Crawford's choosing to.
Yeah, the only
in
reason
my
Errol's
opinion,
still there is because he ain't fighting like a Virgil Ortiz or anyone like that. He's only there for Crawford. Like after that, he's gone.
Yeah,
like there's no other way.
So how do you see it going then? If you're predicting Errol Spence,
like I said, like it could be just a coin flip. Like I'm there, I might change my mind, but right now I'd see it as in technical. Early starts really technical, both like exchanging jabs, moving in and out. I think Crawford will be on the back foot with Errol's pressing, but I don't know if that means that he's going to be effective on the front foot. So it could be against Crawford is that good of a technical boxer. I think late rounds Errol will try and like break him down, like everyone said, but it's just whether Crawford like absorbs it well and like can counter effective enough, like with the damaged eye, with the damage to with the car crash, and if it like catches up to him at this stage. If it catches up to him, then I think Crawford will win. But if it doesn't, then I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. That's what I'm saying on it.
Okay. Fulton Inui, that's happening tomorrow. What's your take on that one, bro?
I like it. I again, like people like obviously the low weight class people don't talk about a lot. Inui has got a resume. Like he's going through the weight classes. Like I think this is like 4th weight class now. Like that's impressive.
Yeah,
like
climbing it, man.
And he missed out a weight class as well. He missed out super fly to jump straight to straight to bantamweight.
Yeah, and I like the fact he's not jumped up and had any like little light ones just to test the weight out. He's jumped in straight and said, "Yo, bring me the champ." Got to respect that.
You got to respect it. I think the thing that's worrying me is the 2 weight cuts for Fulton, the postponement of the fight. He's obviously a big at the weight, so he just started camp stripping the weight down and gradually. then like the postponement, he's got to readjust everything, so his body will have to resettle, then he'll have to go through it again. Obviously, if like you're professional, he's got like it down to a T at this point, but that could be an issue maybe. And again, like I think the only difference in this fight is Fulton's a skilled, talented champion. I'd say like top 15 pound for pound. Inoue has the potential to be a generational talent. Like I think that's the only difference where I think Inoue will either win like late stoppage or points. That's the only thing I think.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Do you give any kind of credence to this conversation around the gloves?
Not really. No, I think if like again, like you said it on the podcast, just like their teams are in the dressing rooms as it goes down. Like if there's a issue with the hand wraps, your team's also at fault for not catching it before the actual fight. So yeah, I think it's just Fulton's team saying it to try and get in. Like obviously, he's gone to Tokyo, he's gone to Japan to try and get to defeat Inoue. So he's trying to get any mental advantage he can. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I hear that, man. It just comes down to how scatty boxing is as a business. Like the fact there are these little minute difference of rules according to wherever you go is just insane to me. Like the fact that their boards don't really communicate with each other so that everyone has a rule in. Like you could be banned here and be completely legit over there. Like it's so Oh man, it's just lets you know from time to time it's not a sport that we follow. It's a private business that we just
crazy
get
like unified is. It needs to be like cleaned up, but yeah,
mate. Thank you for calling in, though, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Nice. All right. One last thing before I go.
Oh, sorry.
Last week I was going to mention obviously you didn't have the Monday Night Smoke. Did you guys see the interview with Frank Warren and Adam Cattrall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's what obviously because I've talked about this enough. Like I hate like the way the situation is with all that. The one thing I noticed is I think not a lot of people have mentioned it. Adam Cattrall asked Frank Warren point blank why is he not fighting Piccoli, Frank Sanchez. First off, Frank Warren said they don't not names, it won't make money. So they clearly said that straight out loud. He then asked after the Ngannou fight, will we make the undisputed fight in the new year? Frank Warren's response was depending on who the champion is. That Usyk fight is never happening. I've come to terms it's not happening anymore.
They do not want to see Usyk for any reason. Like, I don't care what anyone says. A lot of people are happy to just say, oh, it's all about the money. Oh, he's not fighting for this. But no one's happy to just say, right, he's actually scared of my man. He's actually scared of Usyk.
This will be our generation's Bo Lewis. And everyone will blame Tyson Fury. But I think Bo sort of gets away with it because he had those fights with Evander and like he's still like a respected champion. But like Fury will not.
No, Bo gets away with it because at least he threw the belt away to let someone else fight for it.
Fury's holding it hostage and fighting a guy who's never had a pro fight in his life. Like apparently, when Joe Joyce sparred Francis Ngannou, apparently Joe Joyce is making him look like a child, and like it's different. Like
I don't know how they're going to sell this. You see, when McGregor and Mayweather was going on, they got me with the promo. Because all I was seeing was McGregor putting man to sleep. And I was thinking, you know what? If that left lands, if that unorthodox left hand lands, what's going to happen to Floyd? So I was able to buy in. But then I saw Floyd walk him down all night long. You start to realize UFC punchers are not like boxers.
And bear in mind, McGregor was bigger than Floyd, whereas Tyson is bigger than Ngannou. So yes, Ngannou might have the power, but he's got nothing else going his way in that
UFC
sense.
Fan, trust me, like Francis Ngannou, he can barely strike in MMA, and MMA is not comparable to boxing. Like his chin's up, he swings wildly, and he knows I'll land it and I'll kill you. That's the only reason he's a world champion. Like he's technically piss poor in MMA. So in boxing, like.
I saw a video this weekend, of an amateur boxer sparring a pro MMA guy. Well, that's how they listed it anyway. I didn't know who either of them were to confirm. But he was treating him like a child. Like it was ugly to watch. Like you start to realize that it's hard to undo the reflexes. MMA guys have to worry from like floor to ceiling attacks.
Well,
boxers operate in this window right here.
One of my favorite videos is again probably saying like random names. Like if not an MMA fan, you won't know. But TJ Dillashaw, he's again like a renowned striker. He got in he did 2 or 3 sparring rounds with Vasily Lomachenko when Loma was I was like, it was genuinely like a child versus
I saw that.
Like, it was
I saw that.
And again, like I'm a huge MMA fan, so I could admit where like the faults are like they're just not there. Like, Yeah,
it just don't
obviously,
make
I won't talk about like Fury and Usyk that much because it's done to death, and like it just confirms that fight's never happening now. So yeah,
yeah.
let's just move on.
Yeah. Last, just before you go, I want to get your opinions on this. Devin Haney's moving up, and it's looking like he's going to be in there with Regis Prograis next. Is there any grounds to say that he might be ducking anybody, or is that a respectful step up?
I think it's respectful. Like we've all seen him at the weigh-ins, like he's looking awful. Like I think he's naturally outgrown the weight, and I think it's fair enough for him to move up. Like he's done the work. Obviously, you might say what you want about the Loma fight, but he has done the work. Like he went to Australia twice, and on the record he did beat Loma. So, but another thing on that, George Kambosos will get slaughtered by Shakur Stevenson. He will not win that fight.
He'll get stopped. I'm predicting it already. Shakur stops him.
Yeah, like Shakur Stevenson. I think he'll go. I think by the end of his career, he'll finish his career at welterweight, and he'll have won belts at all of those divisions. Like I think they'll be that good. So I don't.
I think he's going to go to 154. I think that's where he's going to end up. Personally.
Who, Haney?
No, Stevenson. I think both of them are going to end up. I think Haney might go as high as 160 if he wants. I think he'll go to 154. If you look at his shape, his body, he can hold that weight. If you check his actual frame, he can hold that weight.
How tall is he?
He's like 5'5", right? No, he's taller than that. He's about 5'7", I think. He's the same. He's just an inch shorter than Haney. Haney's like 5'9". So he's like 5'8" and a bit.
Okay. There's also a thing about as well. Remember a few years ago when it was all like the new four kings. All these fighters now, the weights are like changing. So these fights are gonna get even weirder to make now. So like we might have to wait another 3-4 years before they're even at the same weight again to make these matchups. So like it's one of those things like boxing shoots itself in the foot constantly. Imagine if like I think I saw the post and it was like, imagine if these all fights were made in one calendar year. It was like there's not even a hard expectation to have. Like these fights should be made, but they're just not, and it's ridiculous. Like if boxing was making the fights it need to, then boxing would be thriving. But it shoots itself in the foot.
It's actually even disrespectful the fact that we ever said 4 kings. Like
I hated that. Like I'm a huge 4 Kings fan.
I just want to state for the record, I never said that.
It was ridiculous. Like comparing like who was it like? Teofimo Lopez to Marvin Hagler, like that's just stupid, mate. Stop it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
bruv. Jack, appreciate you calling in, brother.
Cheers. Appreciate you, Jack.
Take it easy, bro. Got a chat here from Sparks Biggs. He goes, it's not scared like regular people would be scared. It's not physically scared of Usyk, but the fear of losing means he'll take the path of least resistance. Yeah, that's how I mean. I don't mean that Usyk's gonna walk in and Fury's gonna be looking at the ground. I just mean that he's scared to fight him because he knows that this brother is going to be a huge task.
And Travis, amazing how many people can't understand the grasp of different levels of fear. Like everyone knows if you're a boxer, you're not afraid to get punched in your face. That's not what your fear is. Your fear is losing to someone that either you shouldn't lose to, or knowing that someone else can take your spot and take everything you worked for. That's fear. And people just never seem to understand that. So when all that time I was saying he was scared, everyone was like, oh, no, all of a sudden, now a year later, people are now saying the same thing that I've been saying from last year.
It's depressing. Let's get ERF boxing in right now. What's going on, bro?
Oh, bless for the super chat. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Salute.
Yeah, no worries. Where to start? I'll start with Maxi because I'm from where Max is from. So I'm from Doncaster. And I felt for him. I do not on that 117, 111. When they said it, I thought, yeah, Maxi's got it. The moment they read the cards out, I thought, yes, he's done it. I'm happy for him. But like Bay said, I don't understand how they gave him more than four rounds. I don't understand how he gave him more than 4 rounds in that fight.
That was a Bob Arum decision. Simple as that.
It's horrible. This is what I don't understand though, because you get like people on complaining about Fulton going to Japan and having to go to Japan and Americans going abroad. British fighters have been doing that for years, going to America to make a name for themselves, to perform like Maxi did as well.
Yeah.
From where he's come from, to perform like he did. And for me, it was a clear win. It was a clear decision. Apart from those judges, I don't know what they was watching, but the uproar for people talking about Loma got robbed by Devin, I want to see that right now for Maxi. I want to
Yeah.
see.
Because
I
this was
wanna
a
see
much
that
clearer.
level.
This was a much clearer robbery than anything else. Like, yeah,
Thank you. I want to see that level of of uproar for Maxi because the guy deserved this. He's worked so hard. He managed to get himself into position,
Mm.
and he got robbed. Plain
Do you know
blank.
what I think it is?
He
Do
got
you know
robbed.
what? Do you know why? Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get the same type of uproar. Is I think there's like boxing fatigue for these type of moments where
Mm.
you on a case by case basis, you're going to get the uproar, but it's going to get less and less, and then you start to look at the sport itself and say this sport is actually like really jacked up. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's even less about these Jack Catterall or Maxi Hughes on this occasion. Right now, it's like the sport itself is so dodgy. It's hard to stay as invested.
and unfortunately, with regards to this fight, it's to the greater public, it wasn't a big fight, so it's not gonna
No, it
get the
wasn't.
uproar because it didn't have all eyes on it like some other fights did. So
Yeah,
it's
No,
gonna get
yeah,
swept under the
I
rug.
agree with that. The problem with that is when fighters like that go abroad where they're not supposed to win. Let's be honest, Maxi was never
that's right.
supposed to win that fight. He wasn't
Mhm.
supposed to perform like he did. And yet again, the commentary was the same. In the early rounds, Tim Bradley was going on about the double right hand, what Cambosis was throwing, and I was like,
Yeah.
what are you watching? You are ringside and you're calling this fight and you're calling shots that hasn't happened. And he said previously that he sort of preempts these shots coming, and then when they don't come, he's actually said it already, and he's like, you see, he's preempting something that doesn't actually happen.
It's
Cambosis
ridiculous.
throws one right hand. He's like, you see, he's throwing the double right, and I'm like, he's throwing one right hand and got counted.
but you know what's mad about Tim? Yeah, Tim kind of exposed like how they kind of do things. So even when they were talking about the Lomachenko and Devin Haney fight,
Yeah.
Tim Bradley afterwards was like, "Oh, I watched it back, and yeah, it was a lot closer." And he's like, "Yeah, so me and Andre Ward have this thing where I speak about one fighter and he speaks about the other fighter." And it's like, wait, so if you're talking more than Andre Ward for the fight, it just sounds like complete one-way traffic.
That's the thing, because Tim is more or less the lead commentator on the broadcast. He's picking out the favorite, so he's always got the favorite in mind. He's always talking about the favorite fighter. So the perception of fans when you're watching it, and if you don't really know if you're not looking and you're actually watching boxing and know what you're looking for, people can just get swayed by what he's saying, and what he's saying is completely wrong.
Yeah,
Cambosis was getting countered. Someone said to me that he was the aggressor. Aggressor doing what? Coming forward and getting countered.
Landing. Exactly.
You're not landing shots. You got countered. Tim Bradley also. Oh, that was an elbow. It's an intentional elbow. The guy threw. I think Maxi sort of threw a short. I tried to throw a short jab, but his arm sort of went across and he caught him with the elbow. Yeah, he caught him with the elbow, but Tim was he's caught him with it's on purpose. He's done that on purpose.
Yeah, he stayed on that for a minute. That replay, they probably did it like 2-3 times. Yeah.
I'm like, how you sat there saying the guy, and there was no reason for him to do it on purpose. There was no reason. It's not as if he was losing the fight or he wasn't in the fight and he needed to do something dirty to get into it. But anyway, let's move.
Crawford Spence, where's your head out on that one?
You know my thoughts on that. Crawford has been waiting for this for too long. This is I remember when Spence fought Porter and Spence beat Porter. All the Spence fans were saying Crawford needs to fight Porter before he fights Spence. Porter will beat Crawford. And like I said, Porter's team quit before Crawford can put him in the grave. That's as simple as that. Because Crawford, when they said to him he was down on the cards, even though he wasn't down, when they said to him he was down, Crawford was like, oh, what?
He turned into an animal.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That was very, very gangster moment.
Spence is slower than he was before. Spence is slower than he was before. His reaction time isn't the same anymore. His feet are in cement. And Crawford, like they said, Crawford will keep turning him, keep pivoting, and he will throw that looping right or that looping left hand. He will throw it, and he will catch Spence. And Spence doesn't react well to punches. Look at the Ugas fight; he doesn't react well. so many times in that fight against Ugas when he was getting hit, he wasn't reacting very well to it.
Who do you
And
think
Ugas was
is the winner of this fight? This is a question from Philip Answer. He's saying, is the winner of this fight number one pound for pound in boxing?
100%. So for Crawford, yeah. I think if Crawford, I don't know, it's an hard one. Because with Crawford being a 2-3 weight world champion, it's different accolades, really, because Spence will be undisputed for the first time. It's like saying, oh, you know what I mean? He's undisputed for the first time. No one put Jamel at number one when he got undisputed, and he beat all the best fighters at 154. So it's hard for me to say Spence. I'm not going to knock Spence at all if he wins this fight because I'm not picking him, so I've got to give him his prop. But it's hard for me to say that he'd be number one where he's only undisputed in one division. He's done exactly what Mel's done.
I think the only pushback on that is the fact that you get a win over someone like Crawford on your resume. That's got to be worth its weight in gold.
I agree. I do agree with that. That's why I said I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say I'm not going. If they put him number one, I wouldn't argue. But for me, I would have to look into it a bit more on about it. Crawford is undeniable. Yeah. Because undisputed at 135. No, unified at 145, undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147. It goes without saying. Like those accolades, it just goes without saying. For me anyway, I think he's number one pound for pound anyway. I've got him as my number one pound for pound anyway. So
cool, man.
But like you said, if Spence does beat him, then Spence definitely has that argument. But it doesn't always work like that. Look at Bivol.
Yeah,
he beat Canelo, and you don't automatically take that spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think it'll be a good fight until it lasts. But I do think Crawford will have that spite in this fight where out of any of the fights he's had, this is going to be the one where he will stick his toes into the canvas to land those power shots. He will, when he gets his chance, best believe Spence ain't reeling against them ropes and Crawford just looking at him and looking at the ref saying, what do I do now? Best believe if that guy's back touches the ropes like he did against
game over.
Ugas, game over. Simple as that.
Brother, appreciate you calling in, man. Great
no
call.
Worries,
Great
no
first
worries.
call, man. Take care, bro. Speak
What's
soon.
up, bro?
Somebody brought up an interesting point still. There's rumors of Amir Khan and Manny Pacquiao. I saw talk of that today. Amir Khan's talking about the comeback and Pacquiao's name. Bro, like, we're going to have to really look at this era's relationship, boxing, this era of boxing's relationship with retirement. Because man throw this retirement word out so cheaply and they don't mean it.
Well, when would that take place? Because Pacquiao's got an event coming up now with a kickboxer for November.
I have no idea what's going on, bro. And the man is talking like it's not an exhibition thing. Man are like, yeah, nah, we've wanted to see this for years, so it's here now. I'm like, is man okay?
Well, with the Amir Khan thing, let's not forget. I mean, he might have just taken that retirement to forego any ban. So maybe him coming back out is just because remember we do have the evidence that there was positive tests. So you never know.
This game is hilarious, fam.
Madness.
Anyway, October, I haven't forgot your super chat. Let me get that up right now. October Red, watch along for Crawford Spence, please. Absolutely. There's no way we could just not do that one. So I have to set the alarm and wake up. Are men staying up these days staying up through the night for the fights, or are you waking up?
I would stay up if it was on the East Coast, but that's in Vegas, so no, I'm gonna have to sleep.
Yeah, that's gonna be a 5-6 a.m. thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a couple more calls before we wrap it up. We've got Callum Henderson on there. What's going on, Callum?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, bro, loud
What's
and
up,
clear,
Callum?
man.
This is my first call in. I was just wanting to say I was at the Lee McGregor fight. What was your opinions on that fight?
I'll be real, I didn't catch that fight.
I saw that fight. That was a very entertaining scrap. I think Lee, unfortunately, he just allowed. Basically, he fought Eric Robles' fight. Eric Robles could only fight that attritional fight, stay in the pocket, just throw punches, and just like basically see how much I can land as opposed to you. When Lee was actually on the outside, boxing and moving a bit more, he had a lot more success, and he should have stayed there. But he sold out to the Mexican guy's game plan, and then by the round 10, he was knackered. So he was literally holding on for the last 2 rounds. He threw away the last 2 rounds of the fight.
Yeah, I would agree. It was tough to watch. But also the Matty Harris one. I mean, I was sitting there watching it and I was shocked. I was not expecting, especially when he put him down in the second. I did not think that was going to happen.
Do you think he just overlooked him?
Yeah. Did either of you see Caller's comments on IFL afterwards saying about that he was heavily criticising his like cardio for the fight and stuff?
No, I didn't see it.
Nah.
But yeah, I was shocked at that.
I hear you, man. What's your thoughts ahead of Crawford, Spence this week, or Fulton and Newey?
Fulton, Inouye, I think Inouye's going to win. I think there is a chance it does go to points, but I'll probably late stoppage, I would say. And I think Crawford's going to win for the big one. I think Crawford's going to win. And I would agree with Base's comments on stoppage before.
You see the KO? You see the KO, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be exciting. We're just going to be kind of closing the show soon, so I'm going to try and get another couple of calls in before we go, but appreciate you calling in, bro. First
all good.
Call.
Thank you. First time calling. But
bless up, Callum. Make sure you call back.
Definitely.
Will do.
Take care, bro. Got Elijah and HGM on. All right, let's do this. Elijah, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's happening, bro? I like the studio sound quality you got there, fam. Good setup.
Hey, listen, before I say anything, let me shout out to Base, yeah? I see that he done an interview with that Dev guy.
Oh, bro, that was
listen, you know what? For the real boxing fans, you get what I'm saying? But you need
appreciate you.
If man's gonna pull it up or what, don't know. But yeah, big shout out to you, bro. Like, yeah.
Thank you.
Where we going? We're going with the Spence and Crawford thing, yeah?
Yeah, man. Straight at the top.
Yeah, straight Crawford. Anything from 7 to 11.
Okay.
Earlier 7. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
7 to 11. He's going shop on them. I like it.
Yeah. Now I tell you what it is. How I look on that fight, yeah. Obviously, right now, even like I said, right now I'm actually watching the open workout. Spence is looking heavy, you know. To make.
I was thinking that.
Looking at him, I'm like, he's looking heavy, man. I'm like, So yeah, like I said, he's been at the weight for too long. Crawford, yeah. Like I said, I'll be raw. It'd be a cagey couple of rounds. Yeah, we'll go off. But like I said, my only concern with Crawford. Now I don't think he's like that. As long as his emotions, as long as he's don't invest in his emotions, yeah. What I don't want is a Hagler Hun situation. If you know what I mean.
Brother, don't.
What I mean by that, yeah, is
just unnecessary war.
Yeah, because if he's going to go to war straight away from the get go with Spence, that makes Spence.
Yeah, that benefits him. That's more his chance to win, and he's probably had the better gas tank for that type of fight.
He does.
Yeah.
And mentality-wise, I think that Crawford and Hearns are very similar in terms of it's like, if it's smoky, then I'm smoky.
Yeah, and that's only good. Like that's the way Spence can get to Crawford. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And another thing as well, if it's a close fight and it goes points, basically Crawford needs to knock out Spence. Can't go decision. Because, bro, goes to decision. If it's a close fight, could be suspects, robberies and all that. And especially with over at PBC now.
PBC, yeah.
Right, so you got to think of all the business strategies and all that kind of stuff there. Crawford, the knockout Spence. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, 7 to 11.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, I definitely hear it. And I did feel like Spence was looking quite heavy as well on the weigh-in. Not the weigh-in, the open workout.
Public workout,
You've been watching the Showtime All Access thing?
I need to catch up in it. I'll normally do it this week.
That content, is the best promotion for a fight you can have, fam. I'm watching these men work out in their garages and that. I'm like, hey! It's mad. All right, Fulton and Newey, where you at on this one?
Yeah, I'm going with Inouye. You know my concern with Fulton is power. He lacks power.
Thing is, for me, I don't feel like his power is not like people are saying he's a light puncher. I don't think he's a light puncher. I just don't think he's like an impactful puncher. Like you see how Floyd would be able to keep men respectful.
Yeah, but that's it. I don't even think he's got that respect power. Like if Inoue, like bro, you got to realize this guy come from a busted. It was a torn retina, innit? Against
No, it was a broken eye socket, a broken orbital bone
against the net. So you know this guy
He can hold it. But then you
and
say
obviously,
that,
let's
you
not
say-
forget though. With Floyd, don't forget Floyd's first half is that he was a knockout merchant. It's
Wait,
only
no.
the hands that was the problem. So he had that power from the start, whereas Fulton hasn't never displayed to have that.
I hear that. But you see the orbital thing, yeah? That's not really like a plus for his name because it does mean there's a fragility now.
Very
because
true.
when not Errol Spence, Kell Brook, that first eye went, the second one went soon after.
But it went the fight after. Remember that happened back in 2019. So that was 4 years ago. He still fought man since then. You get me? So I feel that whatever was there. Remember that's Japan. They don't play with their medical science. So they got that all the way right.
I hear it still.
that's not UK NHS fixing the eye socket.
That man said a couple reps, bit of Vaseline, and just sleep for a couple of days.
No, what I would say, yeah, with especially over stateside, I know like these Spence nutcases, like this, what do you call it, aerosexuals, whatever.
Aerosexuals.
Like, you know, they talk about Crawford's resume. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like Spence's resume, like, I could pick it up. Like, because bro, to be honest with you, I thought Porter won the Spence fight when I was watching. I thought Porter won it. The Kell Brook fight, after he got battered and beat like mate, could have gone blind in the Triple G fight to then go and fight Spence after.
Yeah. Drop 13 pounds with a broken eye socket, come down. Yep.
So if like I said, if everyone wants to do this whole nitpicking thing, because obviously you hear the other side saying about, oh yeah, you know, Crawford fought with one leg and all that nonsense there. I'm like, bro, we could all do nitpicking, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? So like, bro, it'd be a good fight, but it's Spencer's chance of beating Crawford was when I say when he just, if he fought just after the Jeff Horn fight, when basically when Crawford was filling out to the weight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what was that?
That was 2018.
2018. Jeff Horn, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if Spence went straight after the Porter fight into the Crawford fight, it would have been his best conditioning wise where he was at then. It would have been a tough night. I still probably would have gone for Crawford, but I just feel like Spence was more of a machine then.
I would have gone more points back then.
I would have gone more Spence early.
Right, okay.
And another thing as well, lifestyle. Yeah. Another thing what a lot both guys are you can tell like they both got a strong will, but it's lifestyle. A video with Spence, obviously he was out of camp and that, and I see like man, it's got a belly and all this kind of stuff there. I'm like, bro, you're not making the weight right. It's the whole Ricky Hatton thing, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? You abuse your body, crashing that, crashes Ferrari, all that madness there.
Yeah, that's got to take something out of you. There's no way you're back to full strength after that. I don't see it.
But he even said it himself. I remember there was an interview where someone said, "Oh, like you're not the same, or do you feel like you're the same?" He goes, "Hell no, I'm not the same. How could I be? But I know I'm better than most of these, man." And that's what he said. But he said most. He didn't say all. That was the key tell right there. He knew that there was a possibility that he's not that guy. He said, "Yeah, I can't be the same." So,
and I thought right here, bro, is his cash out fight because that's why I look at it. Obviously, all those guys at PBC were waiting for the Canelo thing. Obviously, Bivol messed up the plans there. Yeah,
big time. He's even been frozen out now as a result. That's how much he's going to be punished. Boxing's a funny game, man.
Yeah, but
mate, it's one of the ones where we just have to salute these guys for stepping into these tough fights, man. Because Fulton and Nui, like Spence, Crawford, at the heavyweight division, everyone is looking at these big guys in the light. Now, Dow, you're spot on, bro. Hats off to these guys. The heavyweights need to take note because these men have been pussyfooting around for way too long.
One individual. You know the guy who tried to defend him last time? Now, come and talk to me, bro. Ngannou, talk to me now.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Talk like, bro, you can't win guys, bro. Like, come on. Like, and another thing as well, you know what I hear about, I can't remember, I think the guy who was on before me talked about with Adam Cattrall.
Adam Cattrall and Frank.
Cool. Yeah. So is Fury the cash cow or not? Because last time I checked, yeah, I thought Joshua sold out that Principality Stadium with Takam. It was Bivol, not Bivol. Who was it? It was Pulev.
Pulev as well in the
Pulev,
1000 and the Povetkin fight as well at Wembley.
Obviously, like they're not like tell a casual right now. Bro, it's mad. Bro.
Sold out the O2 with Dominic Brazil. No one knew who he was.
Yeah,
but this is the thing, though. Yeah, it's like these guys. They don't reveal their pay-per-view numbers because they're not proud of those numbers. Like, let them do groundbreaking pay-per-view, and they will be on the front of every boxing outlet screaming these numbers.
Yes.
We know what time it is. Those
And
guys
that's
are not
when we'll
making the
know
money.
that the other pay-per-views flopped. As soon as if this Ngannou thing buses more than 500,000-600,000, they're gonna throw that up. Because remember, they said, we don't do pay-per-view, whatever. But Jake Paul put up the big numbers with Tommy Fury for 775, and they never said, those aren't our numbers. They never said that.
Right.
They took that. So yeah.
Oh, innit? It was BT pay-per-view as well, innit?
Like,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you know what?
Anyway, they show their asses. But I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Salute to you, G.
Right, man. Take it easy, man.
I want to see more interviews, man. Because
don't worry, they're coming. Don't worry.
Come on, man. Take care, bro. All right, man. I think we're gonna close it here.
Yeah. HGM not there.
HGM's gone, man.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, HGM's gone. We're gonna call it here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Is it 9 o'clock tomorrow night?
Yep, 9 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to talk about Fulton anyway, but we're going to save the proper breakdown for the week after. But we will address it because it will be fresh. We won't have enough time to really get into it. But yeah, pulling double duty this week. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Come on, man. All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.